Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing another video where I rate your guys' Depop pictures. If you haven't seen the first one that I've done, I'll link it up in the cards so you guys can check that out too if you want. But yeah, basically this is a video where I go through some of my viewers' Depop shops and I rate and critique their photos. And if you didn't know, I actually studied cinematography in college, so I'm very familiar with like lighting and like composition and that sort of thing. And my goal is always to give you guys like constructive criticism that will hopefully help you sell things more and like increase your sales. So I'm super excited. I've got a bunch of shops to check out today, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first shop we're gonna check out is called Eco Threads. It's at Mariah Harris. And right away, my first impression, I really like the theme you have going on overall. I don't know if like you did this on purpose, but like a lot of your clothes are really like neutral tones, and on your feet all together, I think they just like look really good next to each other and they complement each other really well. You've got lots of like try-on photos, lots of flat lays, which is like a good variety. It looks like for your try-on photos, you use like your bedroom as a background, and I think it works really well because it's decorated so nicely. Like I can see there's like a shelf here with plants. It's a little bit busy, but still like pretty simple. When there's like an interesting background, I don't know, sometimes that gets me to like click on a photo more. And just it kind of just like makes the whole photo more aesthetic looking overall. As for lighting, I think all of that looks good too. It looks like you're using natural light, which is always the best. I really like how you've styled like some of the accessories here on that like shelf. I think that looks really good. I think you do a really good job with your flat lays. Like for example, this white Helly Hansen fleece. You can tell it's like folded really nicely, and that really helps with flat lays to make them look good. I really love how you can see everything super clearly. You know, we have a nice shot of like the front, the back, a little close-up of the tag. I love that. And like for this shirt, for example, this button-up shirt, like you can see it styled tucked in and just worn like normal. I will say there are actually a few photos here where you can only see the front of the shirt, and it's not a big deal because usually the back doesn't really look that different and whatever. Like for this like green t-shirt, for example, you only used up 3 of the photos, so it's like you might as well just throw in 1 more of the back if you can. And then just for the sake of like being picky and everything, one thing I would say with the flat lays is a lot of the times you can kind of see the edge of your bed because you're like taking pictures on your bed, which is totally fine. I take my flat lays on my bed too. It's super easy and I think they turn out pretty good. But I think if you cropped in just a little bit more, like on this orange turtleneck, for example, if you cropped in just a little more and then maybe when you're taking the photo just move it over a little more, you won't be able to see the edges of the bed and you won't be able to really tell where that photo was taken, and it would probably just look a tiny bit more professional. But like I said, not a big deal at all. That's just me being picky for the sake of like critiquing. But yeah, overall I think you're doing a really great job with your photos. Yeah, love the shop and best of luck on making more sales. Okay, so next on my list I have a shop called Thrifty Toad. Love the name, that's super cute. So right away I see a mixture of like flat lays, try-on photos, mannequin photos. So it's a little bit busy, but I think it still looks fine. Sometimes it takes a while to like figure out what style of like photos you like the best. I really like the try-on photos. There's a lot of variety. Like you have different colored backgrounds and stuff, which is really fun. And then like sometimes you take pictures outside, which is cool. For these mannequin photos, it looks like you've like kind of changed up the location a bit, and I will say I do prefer this white door over this brown door. I think it just looks nicer. The clothes kind of like stand against it a little bit better. Yeah, the brown door is just kind of plain and not as aesthetically pleasing, so if you have the choice, I would say stick to that white door that you were shooting against before. I think it looks a lot better. I think it's interesting how you've chosen sometimes to do mannequin photos and flat lays. I don't know, personally I have never been the biggest fan of mannequin photos just because I feel like it's hard to imagine like myself wearing those clothes when it's like not on a real person, if that makes sense. I don't know, even though flat lays, like you can't tell how it looks on, something about them, I feel like they just display the clothes better, but that's honestly just my opinion. I don't know which one's better in terms of selling, to be honest. But yeah, if you've had success with the mannequin photos, then like keep doing that. I really love these sunset photos outside. I love the background that you're shooting against, that just like white building of some sort. I think it looks really cool. Love how the sun's setting, beautiful lighting. Yeah, I just think you styled everything and like displayed it really well with those. Those ones are cool. I will say though, for some of these outdoor photos, it looks like they were taken in maybe like winter or fall or early spring, because you can tell like the grass is kind of all dead and everything looks kind of like brown and dead. Like I would probably just wait until everything starts to become a little bit more green to take the outdoor photos. Even though the lighting's nice, the background isn't the greatest. Like these shoes, for example, there's a lot more green in that photo and I think it just like makes it look a lot nicer. So yeah, that's just kind of like a small critique. I really like your flat lays on this white sheet with like these flowers and stuff. I think that looks really cute all together, and I think the way you laid down the clothes is pretty good too. You can tell like where you placed everything is very intentional. I will say though, this is kind of one of my pet peeves, is when the sheets are like a little wrinkled. I don't know, I would just like flatten it out completely so that there's no like shadows or wrinkles or anything. And personally, I don't know, I think that would look a little bit better. Also editing, I feel like editing flat lays can really take them to another level. So let's take these pants for example. I'm just going to quickly edit them to like the way that I would edit them just for fun. So personally, I would probably crop it in a little bit more because I like to be as close to the item as possible so we can really see all those details. There's definitely room to zoom in a tiny bit more. And then I would brighten it up just a little bit, just a tad. We still want to see all the details and everything, but brighten it up. And then if you can adjust the white point or the highlights, I would really boost that up, because if you're shooting against something white like this sheet in that case, it really just brightens it up, kind of like gets rid of the wrinkles. And already just by doing those few tiny things, personally, in my opinion, I think it just really makes the photos pop, makes them a little brighter, and therefore makes the clothes look a little bit nicer. So yeah, there's a lot of variety there with your photos, lots to talk about, which was fun. Even with like my minor criticisms, I think you're doing a good job, so keep it up. Okay, so the next shop we're gonna check out is called Lush Friday. Okay, so right away it looks like you have a very like simple feed, which it's kind of similar to mine. I really like simple white basic backgrounds for like the clothes to stand against. And it looks like all of your pictures are pretty much flat lays. I don't see any try on pictures, which is totally fine, but I always encourage people to take try on pictures if they can. I don't know, it just makes it a little bit easier for the person buying it to imagine what it would look like on. So overall, I think the lighting's okay. It's a little bit dark. There's quite a bit of shadows. So if you can try to like shoot it on a sunnier day, or maybe bring the clothes a little bit closer to a window if that's possible, it might help make the photos a little bit brighter, bring out some of those details. But I do think your flat lays are really good. The clothes are nice, like pressed down flat, no wrinkles on the clothes. I think you have a good variety of photos. I will say though, for this pair of jeans, we don't see the back of them. And sometimes you can get away with that with like shirts and stuff, but that is one of my biggest pet peeves when I'm just like browsing on Depop for myself. If I can't see the back, I'm definitely not going to buy it, because especially with jeans, I feel like the back can be so detailed or not detailed. And for a lot of jeans, I feel like the back is kind of the star of the show. So personally, I would highly recommend adding a photo of the back. I think it would really help people make a decision on these jeans, because they are really cool. It looks like you have a lot of likes on them, so I think that would really help. Like I see you have the photos of measurements, which is good, but you can always just write that in the description and then free up some space for some other photos. And once again, like I mentioned before, I would just really just flatten out your bed sheet. I think that would look a lot nicer. And I honestly do think you have really good bases for photos. I mean, the lighting could be a little bit better, but I think a lot of this can be improved with editing once again. So let's do this skirt, for example. So I'd bring the brightness up just a tad. It's already not bad, but I would bring it up a bit. Once again, bring up the white point. That way only the white background is going to get brighter. So yeah, just those few tiny changes, plus if you take the photo without the wrinkles, I think personally it just takes it to the next level. Like editing photos does take time, but I do think it's really helpful for selling the clothes. But overall, I think you're on the right track, and hopefully my tips will, you know, help you sell a little bit more items. Okay, so for this one, we're going to move over to Poshmark, and we are going to look at a shop called Epic Change. So right away, it looks like you have a lot of flat lay photos, a really good variety of photos, which is the nice thing with Poshmark. You can add like 16 photos, so definitely always good to take advantage of that. I will say for some of them, like this Zara sports top, when you're taking the photo, like this first photo for example, it kind of cut off the bottom, and same with this other one, it's just slightly cutting off the sleeves. So that's not a huge deal, but I personally just like to make sure you could see the entire photo, the entire thing. I think it looks better and your buyer can really see the whole item. And then another good example is this dress. You have a lot of photos, a lot of good variety, but I personally want to see a shot of the entire dress in one photo. Sometimes it's tricky to get because you really need to get you know, far away enough from the item in order to take that kind of picture. So I totally understand the struggle there, but it's going to be really hard for your buyer to imagine what the whole thing looks like when they're just trying to piece together, okay, there's a picture of the top, there's a picture of the bottom. Yeah, it would just be a lot better if it was just one photo with the whole dress. I like the simple white background. I think the lighting's pretty good. You could probably edit them a little bit too, especially because I feel like the lighting is a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes it's bright, sometimes it's dark. So if you maybe brightened a few of them up just so they kind of all matched and looked the same, I think that would look a little bit better as well. But yeah, overall, I think your pictures are pretty consistent. I think the main thing is, yeah, just making sure you can see the entire item in the photo. I think that would help a lot. Okay, so the next shop we're going to check out is called Bees Who. Looks like you have a lot of really consistent backgrounds, just like simple plain white. And even some of these photos you can tell the background has been removed, so it's just pure white. So that's a really good option if you don't really have a good background in your house. You could totally do that. This one looks like it's in an app called Photo Room. Lots of flat lays, mannequin photos, hanger photos. I really like these photos of these belts. I think that is really cool, a little bit eye-catching, and I think the colors of like the wood and the pine cone, you know, go with this the brown leather. I think that looks really nice. Okay, I will say for some of the lighting, especially on like this black shirt, you can see right here this little orange glare on the mannequin, and that's a dead giveaway that you're using your overhead lighting like in your room. So I personally would say to try to avoid that at all costs. It just makes the photo look not as good, and like you can tell right away the lighting's not as good. So I would try just really to rely on like your window lighting, like outdoor lighting. It's gonna just look a lot more flattering for your items. I see here you did like a little chalkboard thing where you can put kind of the like name of the item. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's totally necessary though. It kind of seems like extra work, and it's kind of a little bit distracting from the actual jeans. So also a tip, if you're going to use these like editing apps where it edits out the background, leave some space, because afterwards you can just crop out the little thing that says photo room. It just makes it look a little more professional, and like you don't have to see that photo room logo. It's a little bit distracting, so you could definitely just crop that out after. For this skirt, for example, it looks like you just shot it against like your closet doors. I don't know, personally that just adds more character to the photo rather than this plain white background. So I don't know, personally I would just rather see that, but it's up to you. And if you found success with editing out the background, then just like do whatever works for you. But yeah, it looks like your shop's doing well, so best of luck continuing your success. Okay, so next on Poshmark we're gonna check out a shop called the Alias Attire. Right away, I really like your feed. It's very clean. Even though a lot of the photos are different, I don't know, I think overall the feed does still look pretty clean. So it looks like you have a mixture of like try-ons, flat lays, some photos that have been taken in front of like a white sheet, which is literally what I do as well. So I think that works really well. It looks like some of the photos you edited out and replace the background, which is really cool. It kind of I don't know, brings more attention to the photo, gets you kind of like to click on it more, I find. And I've seen a lot of people have success with these like different patterned backgrounds. So yeah, I think it works. Your flat lays are really nice. Like the clothes are really smoothed out, really flattened. I love that. And yeah, I really like your try-ons. I think your poses are really good. They look super natural, but like show off the clothes really well. You get to see the front, the back. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of struggling to find some criticisms for you. I guess the one thing I will say is some of the shadows on your try-ons with like the white sheet backdrop, the shadows are a little bit harsh, because ideally we want the background to be like as flat and as white as possible. And I totally get it. Like this happens in my photos sometimes too, especially when you're relying on natural light. It's really hard to like get the lighting perfect. But I would say try to smooth out the sheet as much as you can. Just so there's less wrinkles, and that will create less shadows. And also, if you can, try to position the sheet in maybe on different angles, and maybe you can kind of see like which angle is the best and like produces the least amount of shadows. But yeah, honestly, I think that's my only criticism. I think overall your photos look really good. Okay, next we're checking out a shop called Tamis Collection. I like how you do like a mix of try-on photos and flat lays. That's kind of cool, like that you can kind of get the best of both worlds there. Because I was gonna say, for a lot of like the pants, the photo crops off at the bottom so you don't see the full pant, but then I scroll over and I can see you have a flat lay that shows the whole pants. So as long as you have at least one photo that shows everything, then I think that's fine. I like the background. I think it's just like nice and simple against the white wall. I will say for the flat lays that you have on the ground, like on the carpet, it's not like the most aesthetic. Like even if you just literally lay down like a white sheet and then put put the clothes on top of it. I think that would just like help the clothes stand out a little bit more, make the feed look more consistent with just white backgrounds instead of like the carpet. I think all your shoe photos are really nice too. Very like simple background, good way of like posing and styling them. But yeah, I think your try on photos are my favorite. They just like display the clothes the best in my opinion. It looks like you took a few mirror pics here, which I have totally done before. It's always like quicker to just like snap a mirror picture. But yeah, it looks like you've done more of try on, like actual proper try on photos. I think they definitely look way better, and it seems like that's more of the route you're going for anyways, so definitely keep that up. Ooh, I just scrolled down to like your sold items, and I really like this like plant that you were posing next to. So I like it because it's like still really simple, but just like a little pop of green, a little more interest to the photo in my opinion. So I would bring back that like greenery if you can. I think it's cool. But yeah, anyways, just a few little critiques, but overall I think your shop looks really cool. Okay, so the next shop we're gonna check out is Bridget Wang on Depop. And her pictures are really interesting because she changes the background for like basically all of them. So it's definitely, her page is definitely very busy, very colorful. I think it really helps make the photos more eye-catching. I mean, clearly it's working because like almost all of her items are sold. I'm really curious like how much extra time it takes to edit out the backgrounds. Like, is it something that is done like super quickly, automatically? Like, you know, how do you choose the backgrounds? It's really interesting. This style definitely has like a certain aesthetic, and I do think it's a good option if like you don't have the best background or you don't like your background. As for the actual photos, I think your poses are really good. I would say the lighting is a little bit dark, a little bit dull. I feel like the fact that you can't see the background really helps because it kind of distracts you from that. I do think flat lays look extra good with backgrounds, if that's like the aesthetic that you're going for. And also I think you would do a really good job of styling everything. Like in every photo you always have like a bag on, or like, you know, another like sweater or like something like it that really like brings the outfit together and really helps you imagine like how you would style the item. Like for this jacket, for example, like you have a close-up and then you have some like super far away wide shots, which like I would probably never think to do, but you're really like selling it with the whole outfit, which like, yeah, like I said before, really helps people imagine how they can wear it. I think it goes to show that like you can do a lot with editing to really bring your items to life. So yeah, I hope you keep making sales and best of luck. Okay, so that is all the Depop and Poshmark shops that I am going to rate today. Thank you to everyone who's featured in this video and like left a comment for me to rate your shops, because I literally couldn't have made this video without you guys, so thank you. And yeah, I'll have all the shops listed as a link in my description. I would highly recommend everyone to check out every shop and give them a follow. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.